What does the success mean in Australia, do you think?
We have more of a kind of glorified idea of stability than of
Constantly chasing the next thing.
yeah.
Yeah, I feel like when you're constantly chasing the next thing, where's the room for contentment in that?
That's
Then do you know that in Korea, the Australia is called like the happy country?
That's so interesting.
Why do you think Australia is called like that?
I honestly, my theory on that is just because we have such amazing access to nature.
Yeah.
And I'm a firm believer that nature can fuel happiness.
Hello, nice to meet you. Could you introduce yourself first?
My name is Daisy. I'm from Hobart, but moved to Melbourne this year.
I'm Ruby. I also am from Hobart, and I also moved to Melbourne this year for uni.
Then how old are you and what major are you majoring in?
I'm 19 and I'm studying a Bachelor of Fine Arts in Film and Television.
I'm also 19 and I'm studying a Bachelor of Criminology and Psychology at RMIT University.
Then if we see some statistics, we can see a lot of modern society people feel unhappy in their life. Why the modern society people feel unhappy in their life?
Yeah, I think it's interesting because happiness is different for everyone. They might not be meeting the criteria for what they would consider happiness, but then to our standards, they might be the happiest person on the planet. So I think even if they were able to talk to someone that might change their perspective on, you know, what quantifies happiness, studying psychology, I know that depression and things like that it's a clinical, you know, diagnosis. You can just get it and not know why. And I think there is, you know, no moral solution for that.
Yeah. I feel like we can't even address like these people as they though. I think it's ourselves as well.
Yeah.
Like, because I know for me, like I have so much to be so happy about.
Absolutely.
Like I got into my dream school. I've moved to Melbourne with my best friends. I live in a whole building of my friends. Like I can cook the food I want. I can go to the parties I want.
Yeah.
I'm meeting all these amazing people. Like I genuinely am at one of the peaks of my life right now. But I still cry in my room and I'm still like walk through the streets with my headphones on and I'm just really upset and angry at the world. And so it's like, it's weird and I don't even know if I can justify it. I just think maybe it's human to just sort of have these experiences of immense joy, but to also sort of, I think it's just inevitable wherever you are in your life, whatever class you fall under, that like life is hard.
Yeah.
And figuring yourself out when you're young in this world is really hard. And yeah, I don't think you can be perfectly happy.
Yeah.
I don't think anyone can.
Yeah.
Like
I
we
agree.
see that from like the like this kind of idolization of like becoming famous and rich.
Having
but they're
everything
not
you
happy.
want.
And like
Yeah.
we know this time and time again, you know, like all these people we idolize with these like the perfect lives or the lives that we chase, like they're not happy. And so if they're not happy, then maybe no human can be perfectly happy.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
there's no perfect stability in life, 100% stable life.
I don't think there is.
No, I think it might sound pessimistic, but I don't believe that anyone can be 100% happy. I think happiness is always going to come in waves.
Definitely.
I think, yeah, it's a short-term phenomenon that, you know, is great when you're experiencing it, but you know it's not going to last
Yeah.
forever. Whereas I feel like contentment, you can be in a state of contentment with the ups and downs, but overall be in a state of contentment for a long time.
Yeah.
And that brings the stability. Because yeah, I agree, like we have so much to be happy for in our lives. But that doesn't mean I'm going to feel happy
Yeah.
generally
And
all
I
the
think,
time.
well, Ruby and I actually spoke about this. Because I mean, we are only 19, and we spoke about how it was funny kind of going from this transition of being a kid.
Oh my
and
gosh, yeah.
you know, kids are known because they're known for being happy because they don't know what's bad about the world. And then you kind of go through your teenage years and you're told that you have these mood swings. And then I remember saying to Ruby, I was like, why do I feel like the mood swings like haven't like stopped or something?
Yeah.
And then we kind of were like, oh, well, maybe that's actually just what being an adult is.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like I felt like going through my teenage years, I was going to come back to this sort of contentment that I had in childhood. but that's not true.
It's not.
It's
Because,
like you
yeah.
become an adult and you never kind of go back to that. Like, I mean, that's why we treasure childhood so much, is because it is this kind of eternal happiness that you
Yeah.
experience. And I just think you kind of get to an adult and you think that it'll kind of settle down. And maybe it will, we're only 19.
Yeah.
But like, I mean, so far, no. It's like, it's very much an up and down, and I would expect that to be how it is for the rest of my life,
Yeah.
which is just a weird place.
It's a weird thing to come to
hard
terms with,
Yeah, it's
yeah.
hard to find contentment in that.
I think that comes from, so children are actually the most egotistical age you can get, because your breadth of understanding is so like concentrated to just yourself. It's literally like yourself is the only thing you can kind of understand at that age. You don't really have a wider perspective. And so, as you get older, you get knowledge of all these other things, you get perspective on the rest of the world, you learn that people are suffering in countries
Yeah.
and you can't do anything about it.
And you put yourself up against other people. And
Yeah,
such.
exactly. That, the more knowledge you get over the years, the more capacity to have, swings in your mood. And they call that a puberty thing, but yeah, I don't know. I think it honestly, that's just life. That's just growing up, and it stays with you.
What does the success mean in Australia, do you think?
Well, I've recently kind of thought a lot about that actually in my moving to Melbourne, because I kind of found myself in this moral dilemma, which, well, for context, Tasmania, as beautiful as it is, we love it dearly.
We love it. It's our home.
But it is a very simple, easygoing life.
Yeah.
If you have ambition, you don't stay in Tasmania.
Stay there. You just
can't
can't.
stay there.
It's a perfect
And-
place for retirement, people that love nature and hiking,
Chilling life.
raising a family.
Chill life,
Chill
exactly.
life, not-
And for me, I want to be a filmmaker. I want to write and I want to direct my own films. I can't do that in Tasmania. There's not a film industry. And so I found myself in this dilemma of choosing to chase this ambition and drive and go to Melbourne and go on this journey of which doesn't really, I don't have a known end to it. It's a dream that I'm chasing. I don't know if my dream's gonna come true. Or I stay in Tassie and I continue to live this safe, comfortable existence. And I came to this thing and I was kind of judging Tasmania. I was thinking like, oh,
Why are people still staying
why are
there?
people still staying there? Like, there's nothing to do there.
Yeah.
And I felt really badly about it, and I kind of reflected on it, and I thought, there's actually nothing wrong in living this chill, easygoing life in Tasmania. And I kind of came to the conclusion that both ideas are success to me.
Absolutely.
Because like my parents, they've stayed in Tasmania and they live a perfectly happy, beautiful life, and I think the epitome of success to me is happiness, and I think everyone should strive for happiness, and you can get a happiness from just having the comfortable, natural, focused existence of Tassie, but then I've also chose to try and pursue happiness through chasing this dream of mine. And I don't know, I feel like I'm going all over the spot here, but I also feel like success has to come from each moment, because I feel like for me, I'm going on this journey and I can easily see the end point of me maybe making a feature film as success. But what if I get there and I'm not happy?
Then what? Yeah.
So I just feel like success needs to come in every single moment that we have.
Yeah.
And that success needs to look like happiness. So we need to kind of keep, no matter what you're doing in your life, if you're happy, I think that's success. And I think that's what I would say. I mean, I think it varies person to person, but I feel like in Australia, people are quite grounded in that. They kind of, there's not this big idea of, I need to become the top of a company, or, I mean, of course there are for some people, but I think there is this idea that family, love, and kind of loving of what you do is success.
Yeah, I completely agree. Yeah.
Then when I searched about Australia before, I read some book that called like, there are some class in the Australian people, like the first grade is who has a lot of houses and no debt, and houses with debt, and no house, like homeless, things like that.
Yeah.
Right.
And he says that this is the reality of the success means in Australian people. Then how do you think about this
That's interesting.
opinion?
I think wealth and getting property and, you know, being financially smart and stable, it's definitely aspects of life that are so important. But I wouldn't, that for me is not synonymous with success. I wouldn't put that on the same level.
Yeah.
That's just a separate issue completely.
I would honestly say that success in Australia comes from stability.
Yeah.
I don't think it necessarily comes from chasing this kind of first class thing of having multiple houses. Again, some people I'm sure it does.
Yeah.
But I genuinely do think we have more of a kind of glorified idea of stability than of
constantly chasing the next thing.
Yeah.
Because for us, we tried to put ourselves in that situation, and, you know, how could someone be content in life? Because I feel like that for me is what I'm chasing, is contentment. Even that I feel like is harder than happiness, because happiness, you know, can come in waves. It will always come in waves. But contentment, feeling content in life, I feel like that's when I would call myself successful.
Yeah.
So I feel like when you're constantly chasing the next thing, where's the room for contentment in that?
Yeah, that's
You're constantly trying to get yourself, you know, okay, yes, I've done this, that was my goal, now where do I want to go? You can't just sit in that pocket for a second, just be content. There's no room for that. So yeah, I agree. I think stability is definitely a big kind of thing in Australia for success.
Then, opposite to that, what is the failure means in Australia?
Yeah.
That's interesting.
That's very interesting.
Because homeless people can be stable in their life too.
And they may be happy. They
Yeah.
may be content.
But all of
So
us don't want to be homeless.
Yes.
That's true.
So
'Cause
what is the failure?
I think just hearing you speak about that, I think I've kind of figured out what would failure look like for me, because I'm also chasing a dream, chasing a career in forensic psychology, which is definitely not available in Tasmania, and it's actually only available, you know, to study a master's in forensic psychology is only available at 2 universities. So it's definitely an acute kind of vision I'm following, but I'm committed to get there and I'm motivated. And I think failure for me would not necessarily if I don't get there, but if I suddenly became unmotivated and if I just lacked that drive and I became this, like, you know, like if I just became this lump of a person that just completely didn't have it in my heart to keep going, I feel like I'd feel sorry for myself and call myself a failure.
Yeah. No, I think maybe failure comes in the...
I think it comes from in the journey rather than the destination.
Yeah, well, I think failure comes from the kind of internal world of a person. And if you kind of let the sort of traumas of your life or the experiences of your life degrade you and you aren't resilient and pick yourself up again and try and pursue happiness, then I would see that as failure. Like if say I didn't succeed in my goals, I wouldn't call that the failure. I would call the reaction, like my reaction to that, the failure.
Yeah.
Like if I was to say I didn't succeed and then I just thought I was hopeless and I kind of buried myself away and didn't try again, then I would call that failure.
That reaction would be a failure. Yeah, I agree. And I think also because for me, relationships with people, you know, friendships, family relationship, that's, you know, one of the most, if not the most important thing to me. So I think if I, in the course of also following this dream or in the course of anything really, if I lost those relationships and if I, you know, drove them away somehow, I think that's failure. That's failure, because they're the ones that keep me going. They're the ones that are keeping me motivated and keeping me strong and keeping me the person that I am. So if I lose that, then I lose myself in a way.
Then do you know that in Korea, the Australia is called like the happy country?
That's so interesting.
Why do you think Australia is called like that?
I honestly, my theory on that is just because we have such amazing access to nature.
Yeah.
And I'm a firm believer that nature can fuel happiness. Like I swear by that. Like even through moving to Melbourne, I've felt like this
heaviness.
Physical like feeling that I need to go back to nature, and like this isn't enough because this is
surrounded
man-made
by
colonial nature.
We're surrounded
this isn't
by
real nature. And I think humans need nature. Like it's like, I mean, you go back to the beginning of time, we're from nature. Like we are nature.
We're part of nature.
And we, you know, a lot of the world now is people living in cities and they've disassociated from nature. But I genuinely think that would be why people call us a happy country, is because of, like, solely because of nature. Like, I always remember my mum, like, when we'd be going on walks and we'd see tourists with animals, like, my mum was like, see how much, like, joy animals bring to people.
Yeah.
Like, it's such a simple thing, but, like, all of these people, whether they were from Korea or from Italy, wherever, they're stopping on the tracks and they're just in awe of these little wombats that, you know, we would see all the time by just going up our track and stuff. Like, it's just something that creates endless joy for people, and it's why people travel the world and go on these walks and beaches.
It's why people go to Tasmania.
And it's why people go to Tasmania, because we are endlessly in awe of nature, and I think nature fuels so much joy, and I think, yeah, that's my theory for why we're considered a happy country.
You can say that because you're from Tasmania.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Then, as a final question of this topic, if you could give tips for living a happy life, could you share your own tip?
I think for me, it's about doing the things that you love and not letting the things that you don't love compromise that. So, you know, if you get into a job that doesn't bring you immediate happiness, don't stop the kind of friendships that you have, and don't stop the connection you have with your family. And I mean, personally, for me, I get a lot of happiness from creativity, so don't ever let that fade away. And I think, I mean, I'm also a firm believer in happiness coming from presence, so not kind of letting the bigger
dwell.
picture of, like, what your life is going to be like or what's going to happen to you in the next day or weeks or years. Don't let that affect you, because it's hopeless to put all your energy into creating scenarios about things that you can never know are going to happen.
I would say something very similar. Be present in the moment, and to the opposite of what Daisy said, you know, as well as don't think too much about the future and what it might hold, and don't, you know, create scenarios and things like that. Also, don't dwell on the past, because it's unchangeable. You just have to move past it, and stay present, and don't pine for it when it's not there.
Yes, yeah,
Just
that's so true.
Just
That's
live.
true.
Just live. Just live. Yeah.
With nature.
Just live with nature.
Exactly.
We're only here for, like, I don't know, 80 more years, hopefully. 99. Just enjoy the present moment. For
'Cause
sure.
it's all you got.
It's all you got.
Okay, then let's finish this chapter first.
Yes.